the survivorship bias is very real.
Yes, yes.
Right? If you read all the successes, there's a chock full of failures in the graveyard.
Exactly. And like a lot of people see the successes in entrepreneurship, especially young people, but then they don't see like what are the chances of, or like the percentage of people fail. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Splash IRL Podcast. Here we talk to people who run and own businesses, and we dive deep into what it really takes to make it all work. No fluff, no sugarcoating, completely unscripted, as you know. Just real and honest conversations. So today we have Yi Sheng, and maybe you can introduce yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Yi Sheng. A slight bit of accuracy to correct. I have run a business before. I'm not running a business right now.
Yeah, and actually, so what kind of business did you run previously?
For 7 or 8 years before I could think very clearly.
7 or 8 years.
Yeah, I ran my own Insurtech outfit.
Insurtech. What is the name of the company?
The name of the company was clearlysurely.com.
Clearlysurely.com.
So it's like a robo-advisor. So our aim back then was to be able to let people store their policies.
Yeah, is it like a bit like Endow Us kind of thing?
Endow Us, they sell insurance. They sell investments. They don't so much.
Oh, so they are not an aggregator.
They are not an aggregator.
Oh, okay.
So we do aggregation, we do comparison, we do policy storage, and ultimately we were thinking about doing policy recommendation. So you can check through what you have, what you don't have, what you might need, and then suggest to you what kind of plans that are suitable.
So you guys kind of like, what was the idea, and how did the idea came about actually? That was 7, 8 years ago. 7, 8 years ago was what? Pre-COVID, 2017. Is it?
Too long ago. But because for what it's worth, right, life insurance has always followed a very old model, which is person sells insurance. So one of the first things we've learned in the insurance industry is that policies are sold, policies are never bought.
How does this work?
So that means I need a person to sell, because you won't wake up one morning and then decide, okay, I'm going to take out $500,000 of death cover.
Yes.
Right? You need somebody to sit down with you, prompt you, think through with you, then work out what you might need.
Okay.
Then propose like, okay, you might need a term plan or whatever. So that's what we mean by life insurance is always sold but never bought.
Okay. And then what does this this business actually seek to solve?
Well, our hope was we wanted people to buy insurance rather than be sold insurance. Because at that time we were thinking financial literacy is on the rise.
Yeah.
It's still on the rise.
Still on the rise, actually,
yes.
Yeah.
And then people will be more interested to buy their own policies. And usually that means you can cut out the middleman and it'll be cheaper.
Yeah.
That was our aim.
But then, I mean, running it for 7, 8 years, and you were the founder, right?
Yes, I was one of 2 people who were delusional enough to start.
You say that. Honestly, I had a similar idea actually, but like maybe like 3, 4 years ago. So I was like late in the game.
I guess our difference is I was delusional enough to start, and then you were clear-minded enough not.
No lah, like, but because I was talking to my father-in-law, who is an insurance director also, and he said it's very difficult because every agency will want to just sell their product and they have their own app or something, right? So is that kind of like the difficulty that you guys face?
Yes and no. The difficulties were, for us, we weren't really going to work with agents because they represent their own company.
Yeah.
Sometimes they could represent multiple companies, but ultimately they still want to control their own sales, right? We were working more with insurers directly. And it might surprise you, right? But some of the bigger insurers, those with a huge distribution force, they were actually the ones that were the most keen to explore a robo-advisor like us.
Oh, why?
Because as one of them put, their greatest strength is also their greatest weakness.
Okay.
Insurers, they do a lot of merry-go-rounds. That means, from one agency or one company jump to another company. It was very prevalent at that time. There's always going to be like huge buyouts. So every company, if you are a big insurer, you might want to poach another big team from a rival.
True.
And it just keeps going on.
And they just want to like stop that vicious cycle, is it?
Yes.
And have some sort of like
Control.
property guru type
Control,
thing.
yes. I wanted control.
Okay.
So you can imagine, right? Back then we didn't have AI. I can imagine the idea could be a lot more powerful now. Yeah. Because now you have AI,
Yeah.
so you can actually there's so much data that you could run, and then you can have so much more cleaner recommendation. I would say on par, or even it can be the human agent. That's my guess.
And before starting it, did you have like any like what was your background actually?
I was mostly with insurers and banks
Okay.
before I started.
So as what kind of role?
I joined as a management associate, management trainee.
Okay.
So I ran sales before. So I managed a branch in one of the local banks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So product distribution, product development actually.
And then what actually made you feel like I didn't want to be in this track anymore, and then I want to like go and do this? As more delusional or not?
Yeah. Looking back, I think it's always been about freedom.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, while corporate roles are nice, right? I mean, the titles give you something to hold on to. It's easy, in a social setting. But I guess I wanted to come out and try on my own, rather than wonder like what if.
I think that's most people also. I think that actually, I mean, talking to some other founders, they always feel like, hey, like I'm working this thing, but what if I can go out and try something, right? Do you feel like you had any regrets trying to jump out and do something?
I think at this point of time I can't regret, because even though ultimately it didn't work out the way I wanted, but I can honestly say I gave it a shot. So it could well be that people will have ideas, and then maybe they might stay up at night wondering, well, what if I had tried it? I've known personally one or two people, right, who had the same idea as Groupon.
Oh, but they never do it.
No, they didn't do it.
It's always about execution, right?
Yes. So you're right. It's not so much about the idea itself. The ideas are always going to be like common. It's about the execution, willingness to put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, and then how do you actually even start it? So do you have like a code? Is your partner like the coder and like the
No,
programmer?
actually we are both insurance people.
Okay.
We have our he's more on the property side of things. Mine's more life insurance focused, but roughly the same. So no, we had to do everything from scratch. Website design, finding the coders, finding designers, and marketing. So everything we learn from scratch. Other than the insurance bit.
Yeah, but that's the beauty or like the curse of entrepreneurship, right? It's like you have to learn everything from scratch. Yeah.
It's a minimum price of entry, I guess.
But at that time, I would imagine it was quite expensive, right? To like get coders and get like marketing teams to work on it.
Well, I'm not sure if you call. We had about $20,000 of seed money.
Okay.
And we made it last. So yeah.
Throughout the whole 7-8 years.
Yes, correct.
And so how was the business model like? Cause 20,000 definitely is not gonna pay everyone.
Correct.
Yeah.
So of course, founders no salary at the start. So we started with a website. We did a comparison.
Okay.
So we drive traffic in.
A bit like CD type thing.
City, sorry.
CD or
Yes.
Okay.
One of the very early versions. Yes, correct. So, but they did it better. They had reviews and all that. So yeah, that was very well done. But we didn't. We started with comparison, and we started with content. So yeah,
SEO
blog
lah. Yeah.
So we wrote about insurance in a more like fun, more layman way. Yeah, and with a different take. So that's how the insurers themselves notice of us. So we had advertising deals with them.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
That's
and
what
then from there you bootstrap.
Correct.
Nice.
So it's like we plow it back into the business. So we figure out, okay, we're gonna need this coder, how many designers, and then how many interns, we in charge of what. So that's how we grew from there.
And then how big did you all grow from there?
At its peak, it was still a small team. It was about 7 or 8 of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and then you all start aggregating, and then how far in the product process? Yeah.
Okay, we did get as far as comparison policy storage, and we were going to do that shortfall. We were going to do shortfall analysis. Yeah, it's a bit tricky and a bit gray. It's not that we didn't have technical ability to do it, right? But still, it's under insurance and it's governed by MAS. So we didn't have a license per se.
Okay.
Because a license costs about.
What's short for?
Shortfall meaning, let's say, for your life stage, for the insurances that you have, you may say, it's still like 300K of death cover for the next 14 years, for example, until you retire or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
Or maybe when you have children, then maybe your needs will bump up.
Okay.
So that's where the shortfall analysis comes in.
Oh, okay. So basically, for example, I have a life insurance of like, let's say 100K or something.
Sure.
Then I put it into the system, and then the system will say, hey, actually you need like another 100K.
Yes. We were able to do it graphically. So
I see.
Yeah, so you can have, death cover, you will show you one line, like 100K, and then maybe by the time you reach maybe 65, it just drops to zero. So at one glance, you can see graphically.
See like, oh, okay, like I'm not covered for this part, then I bet I should go and buy something that can cover,
Right.
or like maybe buying this term insurance is not good because I don't get covered for the
later stages.
For the later stage of my life.
So sometimes it's easy to fall in that trap, right? Because you might think, okay, I have $1 million of cover, but how long does correct? When you need it the most, maybe it won't be there. Not sure.
True. So you all created this so that you could kind of do you feel like, because I always have that thinking, like in a lot of these kind of industries like insurance and property, is like there's a lot of like moral hazard. Like sometimes you want to sell more so that you can earn more, but maybe the person don't need it. Like
Exactly right. That's what we altruistically wanted to solve as well. Because no one can accuse a robo-advisor of overselling. It will tell you like what your shortfalls are with the reason behind it, and then you can actually
decide.
Because ultimately our end state we really wanted to reach was customer to click buy. To click buy. Because then that's when it's the customer's choice. Correct. And we wanted them to make an informed choice, right? It's not like, we pull it out of nowhere without consideration your current policies, without considering your current budget as well. So that's what we wanted to solve. And you're right, it is a moral hazard because, well, if I'm an agent, the more you buy, the more I make. So, I mean, sure.
And then you think of like MDRT, CRT.
And why would I want to depend on a person's altruism, personal altruism, to make sure that I have the right policies?
Correct.
Right. And if nothing else, it could have served as second opinion. So my agent says,
correct.
Robo-advisor says, I need that.
Then you kind of weigh, and then you think like, oh, actually, and then you guys also aggregate, right? So some of the policies, some of the companies are a little bit cheaper.
Correct.
And
so we developed our own scorecard actually.
Okay.
So we had a scorecard, right? So, I mean, of course, it can be a lot more advanced these days. You could actually get the user to weight, right? I'm more budget conscious or I'm more protection focused. Then the scorecard for every policy would change. So I think it could be an exciting time, depending on who's delusional enough to try.
But like thinking back, wow, actually this would have been much easier to build, or like much easier to, in terms of product, like to create this product that is effective and all, like in today's age.
That's exactly. Yes, I would say so, because back then we were building in our algorithms line by line. That means I had to tell my coders, okay, you have to check for age, you have to check for this, and then a lot of if-else statements essentially. Of course, now you can do it a lot more nuanced. There's a lot more data sets that you could feed, and then it's a lot easier.
Yeah, like the Whoop thing. Yeah, I look at my Whoop, right? Then I was like, wow, actually, there's an AI function now, right? That is quite good. Yeah. So which I think can also be replicated for this thing, right?
I think definitely. And you look at ChatGPT 5 now, it's like it's more advanced. I mean, according to them, yes, but we can be sure that it is only going to get better.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I think it's gonna be like a little bit better, a little bit not as much better as how we saw ChatGPT 3.5 to 4, 4.0. Yeah.
Mental,
Yes. But do you think, I mean, probably you do, but do you think that like if only you started it slightly later?
Maybe. It's hard to say because I think no one knows really what's going to happen. Example being, if I had stayed on, probably I might be so comfortable in my corporate role that I don't feel like coming on.
True.
Yes.
True.
So, well, yes, you're right. Today's environment does make it a lot easier for such a robo-advisor to exist. Reality is I may not have the hunger
To push for it.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if let's say, so how did you end up deciding like, okay, time's up?
Enough is enough.
Yeah.
I think when we couldn't see enough growth and we needed the next step, right, which was a big infusion of funds to get us our license so that we could sell. And then a partner in which we could distribute. Singapore wasn't ideal.
Distribute meaning like
Sell policies.
Okay.
Example, FWD. Because
yeah.
FWD is one of those that are one of the insurers that they started out by letting people buy their own insurance, right? Well, of course, eventually they still had to work with agents, which underscores a point, but we wanted that distribution ability. But that cost money, and Singapore wasn't, I think, couldn't support that kind of investment.
Like what do you mean like Singapore wasn't?
In the sense, even if we had set up everything in Singapore, I don't think it would have made sense financially.
Because of the market size?
Yes, correct.
Oh,
Correct.
so cause I always talk about market size for like products and for like services even, right? Yeah, but I always say that in Singapore there's a few businesses that you still can do, which is one is property, one is insurance, and but then now like you're saying that actually even insurance the
Size because there is still a mindset shift that's required, right?
Okay.
Because let's say if you were to decide to buy insurance, right? Some people would still want a human to tell them, like to sit down with them to analyze. Some people will be more comfortable with a robo-advisor, right? I think there still needs to be the education bit, right? It's like that, which I alluded to earlier when I said FWD started by letting people buy the
Correct. Yeah.
but they ended up getting agents.
Still getting
Yes.
agents. And what do you think is the reason? Because I mean, honestly, when we buy property, we also go scroll property guru ourselves, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, what is stopping them? Because I would keep thinking like, what is stopping someone to build some sort of aggregator that can aggregate everything, and then you just choose yourself because everybody knows what to buy,
It could be about complexity
Okay.
and trust.
I see.
Complexity being because there's so many products out there in the market. Their differences are minuscule sometimes. They might have another clause here, another clause there, right? They might say capital guarantee this, but that one, lower returns. So it becomes kind of hard for people to compare.
To compare.
Unless-
They got no time, is it? Or do you think it's not the time issue?
It could be a trust issue also.
Okay.
Because sure, whatever a robot tells you versus what a human tells you, it could be the same information could be radically different, presented to the same person.
I see.
From a screen versus from a human. You might probably want to trust the human a bit more.
Arguable. Sometimes when some of the insurance agents cannot trust, I feel.
Yes. Yeah. Those you go by vibe, right?
Yeah.
Those you go by vibe. But I think it's only going to get better because
Okay.
people from 2000 onwards, right? I'm very sure there's a big willingness to say, oh, we can do this digitally. We don't need a human.
But then so what was the thought process like when you finally decided, okay, that's enough. I am done with this. Let me go and find a job.
I think that trigger was when I was a lot of things actually. It wasn't an easy journey for one.
Definitely.
So we had legal threats. That's one. MAS wasn't really keen on what we were doing, and we couldn't find an investor that could let us scale to the next level.
Why would MAS not be very keen?
I think because they are now that I don't have anything to do with them, I can say whatever I want. But bottom line is they still cite the insurers for quite a bit. So for us, they view us as an upstart. So it's like, oh wow, this is a company that is doing something outside my purview. I have no jurisdiction. In a sense, they cannot compel us to do anything.
Okay.
Yeah. They can't shut us down because we are not under, we are not an FA. We are not FI. So
But why can't they just apply the FA?
that
rules?
takes money.
I see.
That takes money, and also because we do not do the service, we don't provide the services that FA does.
Okay.
So we need
You just present the facts of the.
right? We don't sell.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
don't sell. Right? Everything else, our content, we could have parked it under more like education, so they wouldn't have said anything about it as well. Yeah, even though we can, one of the perennial topics, right? Term life versus whole life, which is better, right? Everybody's weighing it, so you cannot say that.
Yeah. It's kind of like what MAS would say about influencers also, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because some of the influencers will say, oh, this part is good, this part bad, or use this bank account instead. This is how I do it. Yeah.
I'd say it's opinion, but
Yeah. And so basically MAS wasn't very forthcoming. The licenses that you all wanted to apply for couldn't get.
they were expensive, so we needed a big investment.
So how expensive is expensive?
About $500,000.
Wow. So it takes like $500,000 to start a kind of like insurance
Yes,
broker.
exactly correct.
Oh,
Exactly
wow,
correct.
okay.
Yes. I mean, you could say it's not very much money, but I guess when you suck at raising funds like I am,
Why you say that? Why
yeah.
Why do you say you suck at raising funds?
All along, yeah, because we didn't have a view, right? Because if I had to do it differently, I would have really focused on half on the product and half my time on fundraising.
Fundraising.
Yes,
I see.
rather than building a good product. Because ironically, our product was copied.
Oh,
It was copied by one of the FAs. They Lock, Stock, Barrel, because we had friends, right? We work, so they copied Lock, Stock, Barrel, exactly what we did, and they did it inside their own portal. But of course, they didn't succeed because they didn't know exactly where the flaws were, where the pitfalls. When it went wrong, they don't know.
they don't know how to fix it, right?
Yes.
Right. Wow. So, would you, I mean, for like a younger or like thinking back or like with like some younger or like people who are just started with their tech type business, do you think like you would say like don't focus so much on product? And focus on fundraising and all this?
Well, I'm really not qualified to say anything because I'm very sure for every path that you suggest, right, there must have been successes, there must have been failures.
Okay.
I really wouldn't know. I really wouldn't know. I think it's maybe does boil down to luck and connections, but generally speaking, in this climate, if I had to do it all over again, I would want a war chest to start with, rather than think through and then have to bootstrap this, bootstrap that,
And then
exactly.
don't take salary and then
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
then worry about paying the staff.
Yes.
What was that actually like a real?
No, not really. Because I guess because we were very conservative, right? We were always like, okay, I need what staff for how many months, I would budget, and then we'll make sure that everything's enough. Then we go out and get.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot of planning for
Yes.
for so do you think it's very important to have that kind of like strategic planning for like a time period?
I would say yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because I guess I'm naturally that way. That's why I just like
Yeah, I can tell from your you need to plan
But
not your lets.
but I'm very sure, right? There are many startups that have, they just start and then they just wing it, and then one day something magical just happens, and then you'll be like, yeah, what's the big deal? Like, why plan? Yeah, the universe will take care of you.
But you don't agree with that.
No, it happens, right? It happens.
Yeah.
It's like, a lot of times we went through, we started before crypto was the rage, and then we saw all these crypto companies like get funding on the ICOs, like
crazy.
right?
Yeah,
So
and then a lot of scams.
99.99%.
Yeah.
So I'm not one to say you should do this or you should that, because I'm sure there are many possibilities.
So how long was that period where you were really deliberating, like all the MAS thing happened and and then you feel like, wow, should I even continue doing this?
I think it was a period of about 24 months, over 24
Wow,
months.
that's quite long.
24 months. Because by then we were already like on our last legs, I could see. And I knew that funding would be an issue. Yeah, funding and the next steps, right? So theoretically, we could have continued our content generation. It would have been all right, I guess.
That was in 20,
Close to about 21, I think.
2021. Okay. And I think at that time, that's when a lot of the publications also start to do it, so, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
and the cost, like, command to write even an article, it doesn't cost as much anymore, right?
Correct.
Because of the social media and
Correct. Right. Correct. So everyone started to write their own things. We saw, the woke salarymen. They are obviously very successful. We saw Seedly. They're obviously very successful as well. So those were the newer ones, right? The older ones, I think you might remember, are dollars and cents.
Yeah, it's
Yes, but again, I'm not sure, right? I haven't kept in touch, but my last memory of them is they were being overtaken because their content was more of like, they were just doing what they were doing for years gone by. So yeah, content for us wasn't a long-term viable strategy.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, content isn't really what you wanted to
Correct.
sell.
Means to an end, correct. We just wanted the traffic to get people to come to our site and then just to know about it.
And did you guys ever think of like how then do you all pivot, or is that something that you really want, or is there like really like you all probably thought about it and then think like, hey, actually there's no real other
We evaluated all our options, right? In fact, we nearly had an Australian investor come in, but I think his terms were too steep. Well, I mean, that was encouraging by itself because that investor actually sought us out.
I see.
I mean, we were sought out by some firms, some overseas firms as well. Some I'm not sure why, but some they were like some from UAE.
Yeah.
So, but we couldn't agree on the terms.
Okay.
Right? Some of them were quite onerous. So we decided like, I think that's about it. Because anyway, I was still the full-time founder. Yeah.
Okay, so your other founders were just like
One other founder, I think. So it's more like a part-time. So I guess it was. Yeah, you can say it's tiring.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and I would imagine like you're the one that at the end of the day everything goes back to the last line of defense and then
Yeah. So yeah.
the only one to depend on yourself.
Correct. So I'm the one like opening up the lawyers' letters, and then I'm the one like responding to MES.
So what did the lawyer letters?
Oh, nothing. It's just one of those one of those prominent agents that was being sued, and then we covered it. And then we covered it in an article. So that was pretty popular, but his lawyers sought us out and then, it's, hey, cease and desist.
Sounds like what happened to me with the High Rocks thing.
So now you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's fun. We didn't know how much to push it, but
Yeah. But was it scary when you opened it?
I think the very first time you get a lawyer's letter, it is always going to be nerve-wracking. What can they do to me? I really don't know. But what if I don't comply? Can they really do the things they want to say? But it looks so official. But then after a while, you just
Say you realize.
whatever.
Yeah. But anyway, you and then you had like all these potential investors overseas. So why not explore like the overseas market?
I think that's where maybe I have to accept responsibility for like my own lack of ability to raise funds, right? I think fundraising is a skill by itself. I've seen other people do it very successfully.
Like John. John's very good. No, but yeah, anyway.
There were other Insurtech startups who raised funds very well. But unfortunately, the execution wasn't there. Of course, so then maybe there's something to be said about executing. But then again, I would say if you have the funds, it will be a lot easier to execute.
Yeah.
That's why.
Because if you got money, you can
hire them.
hire people that can execute well.
Yes,
so
yes.
yeah.
But of course, you need to hire the right people. But
Yeah.
sure.
So then after that, you decided after these 24 months, like, okay, I'm done. And then after you decided that, okay, let me go and find a job to,
Yeah.
Will you ever want to go back into doing something, you know?
I think the answer is still yes. Ultimately, I think you would know this yourself, right? Once you start upon that journey, let's say after you're successful, you probably will say, well, let me try my hand at it again. So for me, I guess it counted as a failure. It didn't grow to the state where I wanted it to grow.
But it was quite decent, right? And it was making money. And
I think it could have been a lot more.
okay.
I think it could have been a lot more. Let's say today, if we had, for example, hypothetically, we had the backing of SoftBank.
Of course. Masa.
Well, I mean, the poor guy, right? Instead of investing in WeWork, right? If he had just put some of it into us, right? I swear the ROI would be, I won't say off the charts, but at least there is good ROI for him, right? So back to your question, if I had to do it again, I probably would if there is an opportunity. But this time I probably will find a co-founder who is good at raising funds. Maybe John.
Very true. Yeah. So, but I mean, being like the only co-founder, only full-time co-founder, I feel like, I mean, there's a lot of like reels and content out there that say, as an entrepreneur, it's very lonely, everybody don't understand you kind of thing. Did you ever have that feeling? I mean, the whole thing is so difficult and you really toil through like 7, 8 years of this, right?
Unfortunately, I hate to say it is absolutely true. Because, my friends, they all
Like
they work in,
banks.
yes, whether they're teachers or, they have their own regular jobs, right? It's something that no one else will understand other than a fellow entrepreneur, right? So the highs and the lows, you will always remember, right? I mean, I say it's, oh wow, it's like such a painful journey. It's not really all pain. You always remember like, oh, the first time I secured the deal, I was like, oh wow, somebody reached out to me and said, sometimes, okay, there are also other perks, right? Not just, the loneliness and the battling and the uncertainty and the disappointment and the rejection. There are also good times when people wrote into us and say, hey, I really like your articles. You give me a very good understanding of what insurance should be. I wish I could support you a bit more. Those monetarily, they didn't do anything for us, but it's more encouragement. And there were people who were writing in to us to share about their stories, like say, cancer survivors, cancer patients. So they will write, I lost my husband, or, right now I have stage 4. Could you let people know so that people would like, oh, they'll take life insurance more seriously.
Yeah.
But else, if generally people when they start working maybe in their 20s, 25s, they'll be like, I'm invincible. I don't need it. I have a salary.
Sounds like me.
I'm not pointing any fingers, but yeah. So yes. So there are definitely the lows, a lot of the lows, but some of the highs you will definitely remember as well.
And how do you, at that point, like cope with it? Because like, I mean, I would assume you started doing weightlifting around that time.
I started weightlifting about 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah, so it's about that. Yes, correct.
And do you think like all this stuff helps?
Definitely helps, I guess. Exercise in whatever form helps, right? But I didn't really have a choice. I had to suck it up because that was already what I signed up for.
What do you mean what you signed up for?
I mean, because I decided to leave my corporate role back then. So I was like, I wanted to give it a shot. I should really give it a good shot. Yeah. So
and then all this time you just decided to like work on it and then exercise and keep yourself sharp in that time.
Yeah.
Do you feel like any of the other parts of your life kind of suffered from that?
Yes, of course. There wasn't a lot of social elements to it.
Okay.
Because, of course, I had my interns, I had my team to interact with, but, one thing I quite missed during that time was my office co-workers actually. Because remember, before COVID, right? Believe it or not, people went to office every day. You had your own desk.
Yes.
You know, everyone knows. Oh, you bought a flower. You did it,
you
blah,
put
blah,
a nice photo and all, right?
so
Yeah.
believe it or not, people went to the office every day, right? And there was quite a fair bit of interaction, right? It's like you probably you breakfast, you lunch, sometimes you dinner together. There's that, and there's also the relationship aspect of it, right? Because it's a very hard journey, right? Hard not only in terms of like the hope aspect of it, right? It's like, oh, is it going to succeed? Is it going to fail? But financially, it is also rough. In a sense, definitely I wasn't earning as much as I did. Yeah, so I felt that, okay, I'm not going to drag somebody else into it. So of course, then yeah. So there's the social aspect, the relationship aspect of it.
Then in terms of like relationship aspect, do you feel like you ever regret doing this? Because like you could have been, I don't know, in a relationship earlier.
Yeah. I think I guess I'm not really one for regrets because it's already done. There's nothing really I can go back and change. All I can think of is maybe if I hadn't done it back then, I really wouldn't know where I would be today. Yeah, it's really hard to say. Maybe somebody else would have taken the idea and run with it, made it successful, and I would be like, God damn. Shit. It's like I could have done it 10 times better then. I think it's hard to say. So I guess that ties back to my earlier responses, right? There are many paths to reach some destination. You never really know. So I guess I can say, yeah, there's no real regret. It's just a decision. I mean, I'll stick to that decision.
Yeah, I really like that because I also think that way, right? Like, I could have gone, like, for example, for me, I could have stayed in law, I could have stayed and did whatever I do.
I heard that's quite lucrative, by the way.
No, it's not as lucrative as it used to be.
Okay.
But I think also at the end of the day, it's about living life to the fullest that you think it, the fullest to yourself.
Yes.
Right. So for maybe us, it's like actually going and seeing something that we want to do and go and do it, whether or not it makes money, whether or not we fail or whether or not we succeed. It doesn't matter. It's more like what we go through, and that kind of like builds us as a person and also gives us the life experience that we ourselves want. Because other people may have different types of life experience. Like maybe they just want to travel the world, they want to have kids and all, but for us might be like just a little bit different from others.
It seems to be the prevalent mentality these days, right? I mean, for the younger folks, right? I was talking, 20s, 30s, right? It seems to be that, it's no longer about survival, not even thriving, but really like follow your passion for and it's cliche, but it seems to be that way.
What thoughts do you have about it?
No, I think just a reflection of the times, right? I think 70s, 80s, when my parents grew up, that's when they were struggling to survive.
Yeah.
So the mentality was a lot different back then. It's like, no business, no nothing. Iron rice.
Actually, that was the time to do business, man.
Sure. Yeah.
But anyway.
Majority of them, they were like, okay, I'm so happy to have a job. That sort of thing. So even today, it's quite incomprehensible for, let's say, my parents' generation to be like, you had a good job. So why did you leave it? Yeah, but I think nowadays it's more like, oh, you actually started something. Oh, good on you. It's like, wow. It's like, I really admire you. You dare to follow, what you want to do, rather than going along the beaten path.
Yeah, but do you feel like there's still kind of like benefits in following the beaten path, actually, for the youngsters, especially?
I think there is. There may have been misconception that entrepreneurs are always kind of young. The successful entrepreneurs, right? They see what's the mental founder? I forgot his name.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Marky, yes, Marky, right? they'll think, oh, he came out of where was it, Stanford or somewhere, It's like, oh, but the truth of the matter is, right, the many successful entrepreneurs, they are successful into their 40s and 50s. I think if you look at the,
Yes.
and it's because number one, they have a war chest. Number two, they have the experience. Number three, they have the connections. Yeah, I think that is kind of understated, right? When you have gone through all those things and then you decide that, I want to do entrepreneurship, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier because you have the money, you have the experience, and you have the connections to make it happen, right? Whereas, let's say if somebody were fresh out of school today and say, oh, I want to go and dominate the world in insurance, I would say, the odds are stacked against you in a big way.
And I would imagine if, let's say, someone at that point, they decided to, okay, I'm gonna go and disrupt the insurance industry when they just fresh out of school, they will meet a lot of difficulties that they don't really know how to solve, and then it kind of discourages them in the long run.
Correct.
And for in life also lah, right?
Correct.
So would you then say that maybe the best way to go about an entrepreneurship journey is to go on the beaten path for a while, and then from there you keep your mind sharp, because there's a chance, I think a lot of my people that I observe, they go on the beaten path and then their mind just stays in like whatever job that they are in, and they don't kind of like grow and improve in ways that would actually help them in the future. So maybe it could be like, okay, you get a good job in the field that you want to be in, and then you continue to grow, continue to learn at every point in time about everything else, about entrepreneurship even, and then at some point you decide that, okay, I think I'm ready, and go out and use the connections that you have. Yeah. Is that kind of like what you think would be a good trajectory for most people?
I would say maybe for the established industries.
Okay.
I would say for the established industries. For the unestablished industries, like at that time, crypto, anyone who could fog a mirror, right? You could, you are a crypto expert already.
Yeah.
So I think it depends. Generally, yes. I would say there is also a caveat to be had. When you are in your career and then you are successful, even semi-successful, right? You probably have trappings that you don't want to give up.
I see. Like
Your car.
your watch, your car.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah.
And then maybe when you got back up to maybe management, you have people reporting to you. As an entrepreneur, when you especially as an unfunded entrepreneur or self-funded entrepreneur, you report to yourself, nobody else does. So everything you have to roll up your sleeves, do it and everything.
Yeah.
That could be a stumbling block.
I see.
Yeah.
Like in what way? Like
Sometimes, it can be hard, right? Because maybe by then, 10, 15 years in a role, you could be a boss already, right? Maybe 2 or 3 levels up.
yeah.
Then, you have people reporting to you. You're used to it already, right? You be like,
And then you don't have to execute, you just have to like manage.
每个人叫我老板. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I had that taste, but it wasn't really, I didn't, it wasn't a big deal for me. But I can imagine it, like some people, they like
to
that.
have that.
Yes, it's a social trapping, I guess. So then maybe that time when you have children, you have a significant other, you want to get married, those are things to be
Considered also lah.
yes.
Yeah.
Because you say how you're gonna do this, like you're gonna give up your job.
I guess I'm quite lucky. My wife say, "Oh, you want to do this? Then go and do it."
I think you're monopolizing a lot of the luck. A lot of which I should have had, but yeah.
No lah. I'm quite lucky in some aspects also, but not in other aspects, I would imagine. Yeah, like I've never tried my real hand in fundraising, so I can't say that I'm any good at it. But yeah, but it's great that like we get to talk also. Then I can learn from your
it's
journey.
fun,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's been some time since I let it go, and I guess it's like, it's quite nice to rethink like, actually what happened.
What happened?
Yeah, I think it's a bit like NS, right?
Yeah.
No one wants to do it, but after you've done it, it's like, Yes, not too bad. It's like, yeah, we had our good times, we had our bad times, but generally speaking, we kind of like it.
So what are your plans from here on out? I mean, in terms of like, what are the things that you probably would focus on in life? Whether you will start again or like, I don't know, like
This is
like,
quite philosophical, but I'll just keep my nose down for a little bit. But the thought of starting another business isn't too far
okay.
away from me. I guess it's to settle my finances. They're kind of like halfway there. It's not as if I'm rich, but I have enough.
What does it mean by settle your finances?
Okay, I mean, once let's say I pay off my house, I have enough to go on like indefinitely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or I have a
Fire.
Yes, yes, a fire. Glad I know that term. Secondary source of income,
Oh, okay.
of which it's not independent from any business. Then yeah, maybe, who knows? I don't. I could see myself doing it again.
So I mean, other than doing your business and job and now job, and then you are actually very involved in the weightlifting community. Like,
I just train weightlifting on my own. I would say I'm involved in the community.
but you train people, what? Oh.
I help out whenever I can.
And you also do the nationals, I think.
Well, it's open for everyone to join, so I just happen to join it every year. That's all.
But it's something that kind of like keeps you
Yeah, I
excited
guess
about.
yeah. I guess you could call it a hobby.
Mm.
Yeah. So I like so many other people, I started with CrossFit. But I just like hobby a bit.
And how important do you feel like having a hobby is in life generally?
In life, that's quite a philosophical question. But I would say everybody has their own hobbies, whether they consciously want it or not.
Cause I was watching this other podcast, Diary of a CEO, right? So one of the guests was saying, all this free time, you don't need it. You need to just put it into your business, cause business is the thing that is your hobby, Yeah. So,
I think my different paths theory comes into play again, right? Yeah, you could say that. You could devote, like Gary Vee, right? Every waking hour. Yeah, every waking hour.
he loves it like Gary Vee.
Yeah, right. But then there's also something we said, like, it's your de-stress. It lets you express yourself as a person, right? Yeah, I would say there's no right or no wrong, but for me, I think a hobby or hobbies work well.
And to kind of like take your mind off also some
Correct.
some of the difficulties.
Correct.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, so thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was quite interesting because we were just chilling at the gym and it's like, when are you going to invite me? I was like,
I know. I didn't really mean it as a serious question, but here we are.
Yeah, but I think it's a very, very interesting viewpoint also, because I think most people like to highlight the success stories, right? And then sometimes having the other viewpoint is always good.
Equally important, yeah, because the survivorship bias is very real.
Yes.
Right? If you read all the successes, there's a chock full of failures in the graveyard.
Exactly. And I think also, like, a lot of people see the successes in entrepreneurship, especially young people, right? They see like, wow, you do business, you must be successful. You do business, like, must be successful. But then they don't see like what are the chances of, or like the percentage of people failing. I mean, I honestly don't count yours as a failure. You're earning money from it, right? But I think having that reality check in like people's choices of whether they want to start a business, it's not easy. Or everybody knows it's not easy, but they never really experience it, so they really don't understand how difficult it actually is, and what are the chances of not doing it and having to succeed in the way that they want it to succeed. Yeah.
I don't have the exact statistics, right? I believe most businesses fail.
Yeah.
It's just that you don't read failures, right? Because they're just not that interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks so much for coming down, and I look forward to your next Leaf class.
Thanks for asking me all the easy questions.
And if you like this episode, do like and subscribe and leave a comment down below, and we'll see you in the next episode.